Hi, everyone. Welcome to the High Vibration Living Podcast. I'm your host, Chef Whitney Aronoff, and I'm doing a solo episode today. I wanted to catch you guys up on what I really do here, and that is wanting to help you guys better understand how to nourish your four bodies: the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the mental. So, if we are going to step back and take a look at that, within those layers, I specialize in food. I'm a health supportive chef. So, I wanted to help you guys better understand high vibration foods, that term that you guys hear me talk about a lot here on the podcast or on Instagram or on my Starseed Kitchen website. What are high vibration foods? Why does it matter? How do we choose high vibration foods? How do we cook high vibration foods? How do we cook high vibration foods for other people? And what are we really feeling from food that is considered high vibration? Those are all the things that I want to touch on for you guys within this podcast episode. That way, as you hear that terminology continue to become more and more popular, you can really have a grasp and understanding of it. But more so, I want you to be able to choose the foods that work best for you. I want you to get to a place where you really understand the meals that you prepare at home for yourself and for your friends and for your loved ones, and you can count on them always making you feel good. Because what it's about is helping you understand that there are certain meals that you have and afterwards you feel great, and there's other meals that you have that make you crash. You want to lay on the couch, you want to take a nap. It makes you change your mind on whether or not you want to go to that social engagement that you have. And what we want to do is use food as a tool to help us execute all the things in life that we want to execute. This is a full on experience that we're getting to have, and we want to make sure that we can maximize our experience in our physical bodies as we are here and now. And if there's something that's not working for us within our physical body, we have the opportunity to transmute it. And again, food is one of the vehicles, one of the vessels that we can use to do it. Now, you can feel yourself in a lot of different ways. Food just tends to be kind of the easiest way for all of us to do it. You can go and spend time out in the sun and get as naked as possible and just soak up those rays. The optimal time for those rays is always first thing in the morning and late in the evening, but you get your sun when you can get your sun. And that is transferring prana, life force energy to you, whether you realize it or not. But you can definitely experiment on yourself. I always do. And I've taken a lot of time, traveled throughout the world, found hidden beaches where I could lay out naked for days in a row. And I definitely noticed so much more energy when I was able to get optimal amounts of sun on my body. Now, that could just mean my vitamin D levels went up, but it could also mean I truly was absorbing more life force energy from the sun. And you notice when you absorb more sun, more prana, you need less food because you are being fueled in other ways. Now, we can get that prana, that life force energy, that word, you can look it up, and every culture has the same word, just pronounced a different way. You can get it through breath work. You can get it through yoga. You can get it through meditation. You can get it in all sorts of different ways. Food is just the easiest transportation method for us as humans. And it's also the most pleasurable. It's fun. It's delicious. So, how can we get the most bang from our buck when it comes to food? And that's where we, head back to high vibration foods. And so, the first thing that we want to look at when it comes to high vibration foods is how is the food grown? So, if it's real, whole, local, in season, it's a high vibration food. So imagine in your mind right now while I'm chatting with you a farm. I always reference the Ecology Center in San Juan Capistrano. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me photograph and post reels about that beautiful 28-acre regenerative farm in San Juan Capistrano. It's really, really beautiful and a great opportunity to get hands on and to see what a successful regenerative farm looks like. And if you look at the farm and you look at everything that's growing, there's food growing into the ground, there's food growing on top of the ground, and there's food growing up towards the sun. So vines and trees. And so when we look at the way the food grows, it's telling us what it's going to give us. So if we look at the food that's growing into the earth, it's going to give us grounding energy. It's going to give us that rooted feeling because they're root vegetables. If we look at the food that's growing on top of the soil, we're going to get just really good balance, right? Because it's not growing down, it's not growing up, it's growing right on the surface, just perfect balanced energy. So lettuces, herbs, squashes, summer squashes, winter squashes, melons, all of that is sitting right on the earth. And then let's look at everything growing towards the sun. So it's growing up and towards the sun. It's going to be lighter. It's going to be full of more sunlight, more of that life force energy and prana. And we have beans, we have snap peas, we have all the fruit, the stone fruit, the citrus, everything growing up and towards the sun, tomatoes on a vine. So hopefully you guys can get visuals from that. But when you go to the supermarket, when you go to the farmer's market, when you go to the grocery store, if you want to figure out the vibration of the food, just pick up the produce item and then think about how it was grown into the ground, on the ground, above the ground. And that's going to help you first and foremost understand the vibration of the food. Now we can get into the details, kind of the challenges of these modern times is, when was it picked? Was it sprayed with herbicides, insecticides, pesticides? How many days did it take for it to get to your supermarket? What is the life force energy in it? Because you can feel it. So foods that are picked freshly will carry the most energy. And with each passing day, the energy will drop a little bit. And there's nothing bad about that. It's just what happens. So if you experiment on yourself and you work hard to always buy your food from a farmer's market or from a local farm or get it from your neighbors or you grow it yourself, you will notice a larger transfer of energy when you eat that food and that you need less. And that the older the food is, the more it takes for you to feel full, the more it takes for you to have that transfer of energy. And so that's something we do keep in mind when it comes to high vibration foods, but it kind of is what it is. You have to face where you are in this reality with where you live, with your finances. That's not worth beating yourself up over. Again, with the herbicides, insecticides, the pesticides, you do your best to buy organic, or you do your best to buy local, or you do your best to buy something from a regenerative farm, which again means that they aren't using any of those sprays. But don't beat yourself up over it. You do the best with what you have access to. But to pull back to the high vibration foods, you're really just focusing on eating fresh, local, in season, and looking at the way things grow. Now, you don't need to make a plate full of root vegetables or balanced vegetables or vegetables and fruit that are all leaning towards the sun. Variety is the spice of life, but it's important to know the energies that these foods are carrying to help you find balance. So if it's the fall and you're overworked, you're overscheduled, you're feeling scattered, you aren't taking the time to get out in nature, or you don't have access to spending time in nature because you live in a city, you're just feeling mentally really scattered and all over the place. Well, you need to get grounded. You need to get back into your body. You need to get connected to earth. How can we do that with food? So we buy the root vegetables. We buy the parsnips, the beets, the carrots, the rutabagas, all the things that are growing into the earth. And we make a stew, or we slow cook some lamb, and we do some braised meats with some root vegetables. That's when we do the slow cooked short ribs with the root vegetables and the bone broth. We use the food to help us get grounded again. And that's the beautiful thing about food is it's medicine. It's medicine in a way that maybe we haven't been looking at medicine, meaning it adjusts our physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental body when we eat it. So you'll notice when you crave certain foods, there's a reason for the craving. If you've been following and listening to this podcast for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Rebecca Wood. She has since retired. She's over 80 years old. She wrote the book, The New Whole Foods Encyclopedia. You can find it in my Amazon shop. It is absolutely one of my favorite books of all time. It was required reading at my culinary school. And what this book is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to look up the fruit, the vegetable, the grain, the spice, the seed, the nut that you're eating and help you better understand what it is, where it's from in the world, what organs it's nourishing, what energetic properties it's carrying, and it'll help you better understand why your body is craving it. And the fun thing is when you're craving multiple things, you're able to see the connection of what your body's trying to tell you. And if it's the physical body, it's the emotional body, it's the spiritual body, it's the mental body, there's something there. So I'll give you guys an example. Recently, I've been craving beets and fennel, making tons of beet salads, fennel salads, combining the two together. And this is what I found interesting when I looked up beets and fennel. It's all connected to heart and circulation. So circulation of energy and prana and life force in the body, but also the heart. So the circulation of the blood in the heart, but it can also be heart energy, just love and needing more love or wanting to give and receive more love. So when you look at the beet, it's typically red and round, and we think about the heart. And then we think about the color, right? It's like blood. It is the blood that's circulating around our body. Now we can look at fennel. Fennel, the actual bulb, is shaped just like our heart in our body. And then if you take the fennel fronds and then you slice those up, they often make the cute little cartoon heart, which I've shown before on my Instagram page. So both these vegetables are supporting the heart and the circulatory system. It's extremely fascinating that there's something there that needed to be nourished within me, which was my heart and love and circulation in my body and that movement of energy, and focusing the energy on that chakra. So food gives us clues, and it's all holding a vibrational frequency and message for us if we choose to see it. And food should be fun, food should be playful. This whole concept should be used as a tool for nourishing, uplifting our bodies, our minds, our souls, our being. So step one of understanding high vibration foods is just simply understanding how the food grows and what it's going to be transferring to you. The second step in understanding high vibration foods is that how you prepare your food matters. So there's a vibrational frequency coming off the food preparation. And what am I talking about here? So I'm talking about, are we cooking over gas or are we cooking over electric? Are we cooking in an oven, on the stove? Are we using boiling water? Are we doing a soft simmer? Are we using real fire? So all the cooking methods and systems have a vibration. And then, of course, our kitchen equipment. So our pots and pans and the chemicals or the non-existing chemicals on those pots and pans are also affecting the food. But let's keep it really simple and just work on the electric, the heat, the cold, the raw when it comes to the vibrational frequency of the food. Raw isn't better and cooked isn't better. There is a place for both, because if you haven't figured it out now, balance is everything. Balance is key. Libras know this, right? Because they seek balance. Geminis know this because that's the true meaning of the twins. It's just constantly seeking balance. Anyone who's a B blood type or B positive blood type always seeking balance. So we're really always seeking balance in food. So raw food isn't going to provide you a higher vibrational frequency, and cooked food isn't going to offer you a higher vibrational frequency. It's just different. So if you take a look at a carrot, you're going to get different nutritional benefits when you eat a raw carrot versus a cooked carrot. And that's why it's great to have both in your diet. So when you eat a raw carrot, you'll absorb certain nutrients from it. But then when you cook the carrot, whether you blanch it, steam it, roast it, grill it, you are breaking down the cellular walls in a way that there's now new nutrients for you to absorb. And there's a variety of books and doctors and nutritionists that have chatted about these studies of how they found that what our bodies actually absorb nutrient-wise from cooked and raw foods is different from the same fruit, vegetable, or food. So you can definitely look there, and I'll find those notes for you guys and get them to you at a later date because it's really fascinating research. So as you go through this high vibration food journey, don't think one or the other is going to be better for you. Don't think that if you could only eat raw, you'd be healthier, skinnier, prettier, more vibrant, whatever it is. If you were only able to eat, simple steamed food, that you would be healthier, better, happier. Whatever you're tying to those cooking techniques, variety is the spice of life, and balance is kind of everything here. So when we're looking at cooking our food, it's not bad, it's not good. And we're looking at eating the raw vegetables, it's not good, it's not bad. But there is a good, better, best when it comes to cooking our food. The highest form of energy frequency for cooking our food is fire, is live fire. So anytime we get a chance to cook over wood or coals, that's going to give our food a higher vibrational frequency. I think one of the things to look at that's become a huge trend is barbecue, right? Food that's been cooked for 24 hours. And interestingly enough, you can find that all over the world. So a few years ago, I was in Croatia, and throughout Croatia, there are a variety of these restaurants that you can go to that's basically their version of barbecue. And you have to place your order the day before because they cook the lamb for such a long time that you can't show up at the restaurant and place your order. You have to order in advance. They often do that in certain parts of Europe as well if they know that you're going to order fish. So if you want a salt crusted baked fish, you have to place that order hours in advance because that type of food takes time to cook over fire. And there's a benefit there to food that cooks slow and longer. It's going to now transfer you slower, calming, grounding energy. You can also cook food right on the flame. So you can put your vegetable on a little skewer and put it right on the flame. And then when you take a bite of it, think of all that fire you're eating, right? So from the fire that we've created through wood or through coals or through paper or through a mix of all that in a fire pit, we can get multiple types of feeling and energy from it. We can get that super slow feeling, that grounding feeling, that calming feeling from food that was cooked over the fire, low and slow for hours, and the fire was really mended and cared to. Or we can get that super fast moving energy, that flame, that fire within us from food that's cooked directly in it and fast. So the highest frequency of cooking is fire, but within that high frequency, you can get two feelings from it. The next one is gas, and that is cooking with a gas stove or cooking with a gas oven, which you get the flame. And that's a big part of why gas is considered a healthier, more high vibration cooking method over electric. Now, with the gas flame, you can better control your fire. You can see it, so you can turn it up and down. And then you can decide if you want to cook your food at a fast boil or a slow boil. And again, you'll get a different feeling. And you guys all know this feeling because you have made a soup or stew that sat on the stove for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, or like a pasta sauce that you cooked for hours. And you know what it tastes like when you do something really fast. When you get home from work, you're in a rush, you're starving, and you bring something to a boil and you blanch it fast. Or you cook pasta and you're trying to get it done in 5 minutes. It's a different vibrational frequency. If you're always eating food that's cooked really fast like that, you're never going to feel that calm, slowed down, grounded feeling. You're always going to feel a little on edge. You're always going to feel a little shaky. You're going to feel the way that those water bubbles look when it's boiling, right? So, understanding high vibration foods requires you to really visualize the process of growing the food, the process of cooking the food, and then understanding how you're cooking is how you're going to feel. And if you are really struggling with how you're feeling, why don't you just adjust your cooking? Adjust the ingredients. So the more real foods you're eating, the better it's going to support your physical, emotional, and mental health. And then your cooking technique is going to support that as well. So if you really need to slow down, cook foods that are slow to cook. It'll help you slow down. If you really need to lighten up, just feel a little lighter, then cook foods that require or have the vibrational feeling of lightness. Steamed, poached, blanched, raw, just lighter, that lighter frequency, that lighter food. Foods that are growing towards the sun are lighter, right? Because that tends to be summertime. They're all up on the vine and in the trees growing towards the sun. So we can get the feeling that we're chasing through our food. But the third way we can control our high vibration foods, control the feeling, is how we show up to cook the food and how we have managed the space that we're going to cook the food. Because you are ultimately in control. Your vibrational frequency is going into the food. The person preparing your food at a restaurant, their vibrational frequency is going into your food. Your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your grandma, your loved one, their vibrational frequency is being transferred into you. That's why we feel so loved when someone that cares about us cooks for us, because that person, consciously or unconsciously, has probably thought about how they want you to feel. They're cooking the soup for you because they want you to feel better. And imagine that you eat the soup and you feel better. This is an experiment that I love to do, and I love setting intentions when it comes to the food I make, whether it's for a family member, a friend, or for a client. I think about how I want them to feel when they eat my food. So this is a game I play a lot when I'm doing a dinner party, or I know I'm making the food and I am going to watch them eat it, is I set the intention. I want them to feel loved or nourished or revitalized or safe or more creative. I want them to feel uplifted. I want them to feel healthy. I think about the different ways I want them to feel. And then I kind of say that out loud over and over and over again, or just in my head. And I find when I've set the intention and used a few mantras throughout the cooking process, that when we sit down to eat the meal, who I've made the meal for will tell me that's how they feel from eating the food. That they feel loved, that they feel nourished, that they feel really healthy, that they feel safe and comfortable, that they just feel more joyful after this meal. So setting the intention is really, really important. I really always go back to love. I want everyone to feel deeply loved and nourished through the food that I make them. I want them to feel balanced and whole and complete. That's what I want for all of us on this planet and during this experience. So my way of doing that for other people is through food. So a few things that you can do to prepare yourself, you the vessel, for cooking for yourself, most importantly, or cooking for others, is walk into your kitchen and clean and clear your space. open a window, all right? So there's electromagnetic fog, electromagnetic frequency that's building up in your kitchen, whether you recognize it or not. Your refrigerator's plugged in, your oven's plugged in, that blender's probably plugged in, maybe you have a phone charging in there, God knows what else. And there is a smog that's building up in that space. So it's really important for you to open a window and allow some fresh air to move into your space. Clear that out of there. That will also help you if you're feeling tired and sluggish and not motivated to cook. Often the fresh air and moving that stagnant energy will bring back your interest and focus in cooking and getting the job done. The next thing you can do is clean and clear your space energetically, meaning you can use sage, you can use Palo Santo, you can use sweetgrass, you can also use something that's kind of considered the most powerful thing out there, and that's dragon's blood. And it has kind of a scary name, but it's simply an incense, and it is from the dragon fruit tree. It's grown actually in Arizona and New Mexico and Mexico. And you can even go to Walmart and buy some of dragon's blood incense. You can go online. There's a bunch of different kind of holistic health supportive companies. There's some out of Taos and different places that you can shop for it from. And that's actually considered the most powerful way to clean and clear your space. It's what the Catholic Church now uses. And it's something that they adopted from the indigenous people of Mexico. That's what they used for their blessings and for clearing and getting rid of negative energy and psychic debris off people and out of places. So you can do that. You can simply clean and clear yourself using some sage and clean and clear your kitchen space or your dining room space. And I always use the mantra, guides and angels, clean and clear me of all negative energy and psychic debris in this dimension and all dimensions. And I say it 3 times because we know our guides and angels don't pick up on the first time. So you always have to repeat it 3 times, the magic of 3 in this universe. And then you just adjust the words. First, I clean and clear myself. And then I walk around the space, guides and angels, clean and clear this space of all negative energy and psychic debris in this dimension, all dimensions. And I'm telling you, if you are so unmotivated to cook, if you just can't get the energy, you can't fire up, this really helps. This really helps after walking in from a long day at work, or if you've been in a place with big crowds, or if you've had people over at your house for a meal or for a holiday or for an event, clean and clear them out of your space. It is a huge, huge support. And it's also a big part of cleaning the energy so you can focus on your intention for that meal that you're planning. The next thing I love to do is fill my kitchen with things that make me happy, with the joy. So look around at your kitchen and make sure that it's set up in a way that makes you happy. It might not be your dream kitchen. You might have much bigger plans for what you want your kitchen to look like. So do your best with the space now. I like calling in and bringing in some plants. Plants are going to be great for cleaning the air and cleaning the energy of the space. Anything that you find beautiful and useful. I really carry the philosophy that I don't bring anything into my kitchen that I don't love. So that way, everything that I look at in my kitchen brings me joy and happiness, which then goes into the food. So that comes down to every little thing, every little tool that I purchase for my kitchen, from a wooden spoon to a spatula, I make sure I really, really like it. And it works. It's a tool that works because there's a lot of kitchen equipment out there now. You can go to Sur La Table, to Williams-Sonoma, to Target, to Costco. You can go online to Food 52. It's kind of endless. And we need to be mindful of what we're choosing to bring in to make sure that it's functional, that it actually works, that it's made out of materials that aren't toxic to us or our food, but that it looks pretty as well. And we enjoy picking it up and using it. This is often where I love shopping at local stores. Here in Orange County in Southern California, that would be Juxtaposition, Michelle's Santos store, which I absolutely love and adore. That would be Abode or the Garage Collective. Shopping at local spots that are really going to have really nice curated home goods. That's where I like picking up really special pieces for the kitchen. So look around your kitchen, make sure it's a space that makes you happy and that you love. And then another thing that you can do to raise the vibration of your kitchen space, which will then go into your food, is crystals, right? That's But one of the joys of crystals is the vibrational frequency that it gives us when we need it or gives our space when we need it. And I've done some great episodes on the podcast about crystals in your kitchen. Most recently, I had, Andrea on the podcast. And I had Leela on as well. So you guys can go back and find those crystal episodes. And both of them, we specifically go into the type of crystals that are great to have in your kitchen and the particular ways that they can support. So I have crystals in my kitchen. They're kind of in hidden places. I have the lapis out, but the rest are kind of hidden in different little spots. Again, just to keep the space clean and clear and high vibration and happy and joyful, because that's what I want to experience every day when I'm in there, whether I'm cooking for work or cooking for myself for nourishment and joy. So those are 3 things that you guys need to know when it comes to high vibration foods. The last thing I would add in there when it comes to your space, your kitchen, you as the vessel, is music. Music is so powerful. So if there is a day where you just can't get in sync with wanting to cook or make an intention, we've all had those days. I've had many days where I can't stop crying and I don't want the sadness to go into my food. So I play music. That will shift your frequency, that will shift your feel. No one can run away from how music can make us feel and how it can lift us up. But I'm really intentional with that frequency. So you can look up 520 hertz music, which is going to go straight to the heart chakra. Or you can look up different bands that focus on high vibration music. These are the ones that I love. I love listening to Chris Merrill, who I've had on my podcast. His website has tons of music. He does work with Dr. Joseph Michael Levery. So you can go on Spotify and look up Dr. Joseph Michael Levery's music. And that is all super intentional as well. And then I love White Sun, all of their albums, their kundalini mantras. And I mean, it works. It works so much that they consistently win Grammys. So, if an artist is consistently singing mantras and then winning awards for singing mantras, something that they're doing is working. It's definitely working for them. And I can tell you it's really working for me as well. And again, if you're really struggling physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, you can keep that music on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's what I do with Starseed Kitchen and my organic spices, is I have them in a storage space where the music plays 24/7. So that way that positive energy is then transferred to you once it's sent to your home when you order it online, or to Erewhon or to the butchery. That vibrational frequency can be passed to you because it's been really charging up with that music. You can do that to any space. So if there's a space in your house that's not feeling good, you can buy a tiny little speaker. You can load some of those kundalini mantras on that little card, that little tiff. You can just pop it in there, turn it on, set it to run 24 hours a day at the lowest volume possible. And it will shift the energy in that space, in your home, in your life. And that was one of the things that I did when I transitioned from being an HR manager to going to culinary school, is I was playing mantras and music 24 hours a day in my home, always when I slept at night. So there were some times when I was home making dinner, watching TV, meditating, the music was off. But when I went to bed at night, I turned on David Halperin. I still have the music, and I actually have that music play a lot for the spices. Now, he has 3 different albums that I personally really like. There's one for just health and wellness. There's one for financial abundance. And then there is one, maybe it's just love. But I have 3 of his albums. Definitely financial abundance, definitely health and well-being. So I'm guessing the third is probably love-based, knowing the way I focus my mantras and my meditations and my goals in my life. Those are the 3 where I'm constantly sending energy to or calling energy in. So I would choose one of his albums. I'd put it on repeat I'd put it at the lowest volume, and I would just move it as far away from my bed as possible, because obviously I don't want the frequency of the technology near my bed while I sleep at night or near my body. But I want to be able to I want my subconscious to hear the music a little bit while I sleep. I want my subconscious and my body to get that frequency with that abundant or career or love or health frequency. And that's what I played every night. And within a year, my life was on a new trajectory. I actually want to say it wasn't even a year. So I started doing the music in probably of 2014. And I was accepted into culinary school by December. And I was moving to New York by March 2015. So my life moved in a positive way really, really fast. So when I'm stuck, I let the music help me. So if you are feeling stuck or uninspired in the kitchen or low vibration, let the music help you. And then turn to the food. And then turn to the cooking techniques. And then look at the other ways you can adjust your environment to raise the vibration of you and the food and everything else in your life. So these are my tips. This is the 3-step guide I believe in understanding and working with high vibration foods. I hope you have found this helpful. I hope if you've listened to information similar to this that I have shared, that there was something within this that was new for you. And let me know. Comment on one of my Instagram posts. Send me a DM that you listened to this episode. You can also relieve of the podcast on Apple or Spotify. Specifically, when you leave a review on Apple, I can see it. So you can give a 5-star rating. You can leave a review and say, this is the episode I listened to, and this is what was helpful for me. I would love that type of feedback, because that's what I want to do for you guys, is transfer this type of information to you that I've learned from my culinary school and all the spiritual practitioners I've had the blessing to study under over the last 15 years. And I really look forward to connecting with more spiritual practitioners, because there's always new information that's old information to be learned. And through this podcast, I've been able to connect with the team at Dr. Michael Joseph Levery. I've been able to connect with Dr. Scott Robinson, and both communities are really opening me up to even more tools for building a beautiful, happy, positive, transformative life. But I like what I'm learning from them is everything's so much more practical and applicable, because all this information doesn't matter if we can't use it, if it can't become a part of our everyday life. It's fun to learn, but if we can't apply it, it's like a TikTok video. It's just in and out. And we need to absorb and then apply, absorb and then apply, and then maybe take a break, go to the beach, spend time in nature, and then absorb and apply, and absorb and apply. And hopefully, the goal is always to leave this life at a higher vibration, to leave this life having served in a greater way than we thought possible. There are some people that I've been wanting to bring on to the podcast. It will happen someday. They have an incredible frequency machine. They're based in Miami. And if you follow Sasha Stone, you've probably seen them before. And they can measure your vibrational frequency when you entered this life and then where you are now. So you make sure that you are moving upward, because that's the goal, is to leave at a higher vibrational frequency. And I think we all can say that we probably want to leave here and leave the earth in a little better place than where it was when we came in. So I think that's enough rambling for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I always enjoy sharing and connecting with you guys. and more information on high vibration foods and high vibration living to come. Enjoy and cheers.